If you could say one thing to someone who doesn't believe in global warming, what would it be? And then what would you ask them back? Let's see what people have to say.
What are you doing? Oh, yeah.
I think that it's fair to say we may not necessarily have a concern of global warming and or cooling, but I do think that humans and their carbon monoxide emissions do affect our planet. And so what I do is I ride my bike and I grow a garden, and these two things ensure that I'm acting responsibly on a local level, and this can only snowball and affect things on a global level.
Nice. And what would be something that you would ask somebody back who doesn't believe in global warming?
Oh, what someone doesn't believe in?
Yeah, what would you ask them?
I would ask them if they've noticed any trends of more intense temperature changes over the years, or intense storms over the last couple years. And I would ask them if they feel what they're doing is the right or responsible thing to do for curbing those environmental changes.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, I have something for you too.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know, the so-called Indian Wars, the genocide against indigenous people on this continent, never ended. Coal is actually one of the coal industry is one of the major perpetrators against that, of the Indian Wars in this country as they still continue. Check a website, blackmesais.org, and find out how Peabody Coal is working to force traditional Hopi and Navajos off their land to expand the largest strip mine on the continent, possibly the largest strip mine in the world. So coal not only perpetrates global heating, it should be called global heating, not just global warming, but it also perpetrates violations against campesinos and indigenous people all over the world, including in this country. blackmesais.org.
Nice. And what would you ask somebody who doesn't believe in global warming? What would be one question to them?
Pay attention to what's happening around you. And that's really, and oftentimes, and I am a meteorologist, incidentally. I have BS and MS degrees in the subject. I've been tracking the subject of global heating since the 1970s. That's how I got involved in Earth First and got involved in starting one of the people that started an entity known as Rising Tide North America, risingtidenorthamerica.org. And the fact of the matter is that I'm often hit with this question, well, what if it's a natural cycle? Well, there may very well be a natural warming cycle going on. But when you look at the rate at which the changes are happening, it's very apparent that there is, if there is a natural cycle, there is very definitely a human imprint superimposed on that natural cycle, because the changes are happening much too rapidly. And whether it's a natural cycle or a human-caused and anthropogenic changes in the climate, it's going to drastically impact humans and all other species. So we have to do something about it one way or another. And let's just say, for argument's sake, just for a minute, that maybe human-caused global heating hasn't begun yet. It soon will, so why should we wait for it?
I was thinking about just like the weather changes, like the weather patterns are like just changing like so rapidly, because like I'm St. Louis, and like a couple years ago we had like 2 huge storms that like never ever happened before, like ever, and recorded. And it's just like, I can't answer that question really good.
Oh, it's okay. And what would be one thing you would ask somebody else that doesn't believe in global warming?
What would their proof be that it isn't happening? Like I want to see like statistics and things, because that's the type of stuff that I point to. Like if you look at the weather statistics, like some of the other stuff he said about more intense storms, like usually there's only a couple hurricanes a year, and now there's like 5 average a year. It's not a single thing. It's like it's not a single thing. It's like it's not a single thing or a cycle. It's ongoing, and if we don't do something about it, it'll stay that way, and things will only get worse. So that's all I can think of saying.
What would be something that you would say to somebody that doesn't believe warming exists?
I'd say open your eyes.
And what would be a question that you would ask them?
I would say, how come you drive your car so much? Maybe you don't have to drive it quite so much.
Nice, thank you.